What's up YouTube? I'm just another guy and welcome to my Parts of the Premier League here with Billericay Town FC. So we're now exactly at the halfway stage of the season. No new transfers to talk about as of yet. So we're just going to jump straight into the league table and we currently sit 7th. 7th, very respectable. That's a good position. We're in the Europa League spot theoretically. Okay, we depend on cup winners, and Liverpool are currently below us by 1 point. Have 2 games in hand. But still, we can't take away the fact 19 games in. For us, anyway, we are 7th in the table, and we are only 2 points behind Champions League spot Arsenal. So, very good season, very tight season. We can leapfrog West Ham with our so-called game in hand, if you want to call it that. We do play today, of course, and they were probably just the early kickoff, which they were, and they lost to City. So, we can jump up them if we can beat today's fixture, which is Liverpool. That is a very realistic thing. We beat them earlier on in the season. So yeah, things have been going really well this year. Okay, it could be better if we look at the first half. If we look at the past positions, you see that it could have been better. The opening 10 games this season are definitely better than the current 9 that we've done. But still, very good season in comparison to last year. We were a pretty mid-table team. We were just struggling. This year, we're definitely up there and around. And you can consider us, I'd say, a major force now to push for that Champions League spot. So we'll jump through the fixtures, and the last time I saw you was the Everton 1-0 defeat. So, of course, we were looking to bounce back, and we did. We beat Blackburn, who were below us at the time, 3-0. So it's a very important victory for position-wise, with Francisco Xavier, Jefferson, and Cass Peters picking up the goals, earning us all 3 points. So we got a man sent off in the 26th minute, and of course, that is going to make it a little bit easier for us. Maybe if they have all 11 men on the pitch, they find it easier to create chances. But here we have Williams. Peters picks up the ball on the left, plays it through to Jefferson nicely, and the youngster slotting it home very comfortably indeed. And then Cass Peters, wrapping up the scoring. Alfonso out wide to Bakos. Cass Peters are playing on the far left today. Jefferson in the centre, and the ball comes in, far post and heads it past Cheek. So overall, a great performance from the players. We dominated the 10 men. Blackburn, good enough anyway, in my opinion. After that, we beat Swansea 4-1 away from home. Another fixture that involved a sending off. And again, it was quite early in the 33rd minute, but we were already 2-0 up at this point. We'll have a look at Bakos and Francisco Xavier's goal. So, yep, a good victory yet again. Again, if they have 11 men on the pitch, okay, we're 2-0 up at this point. They could have still beaten us. They pretty much matched us, and they were 1 man down for the majority of the game. So, I take my hat off to Swansea. They did very well. His Bakos running down the right, magnificent run and a good composed finish. And on the 81st minute, Jefferson whips in the set piece, near post, and Francisco Xavier slots it home. So, again, a good performance by the players. Everyone over 7 match rating there. And picking up all 3 points away from home is nice. We don't face Reading. It's a disappointing game. We played well. We dominated play. Reading currently aren't doing well in the league. They're battling for trying and survive relegation. So realistically, we shouldn't be beating teams like this, considering that we are now battling for the European and continental competitions. But attackingly, we were poor this game. As you see, Cass Peters, Jefferson's not doing well. So no wonder Karamin. I tried bringing on 2 players. It didn't make a difference in the end. So walking away with that point. Okay, it's a point, but I thought we could have got more. Andre Karamin has a good run of games here. Look, we're getting up 3-3. So first of all, start off 2-0 against Wolves. That was a good victory yet again. And have a look at Andre Karamin's goal and then Cressinger's, because it's not often you see a right back, scoring many goals. But another dominant performance at home. We're trying to use the home advantage as much as possible, of course. We have a small stadium, so theoretically, it should help us, because I can guess, you're quite close to the pitch. There's Karamin, fighting for the ball, never giving up as Figueroa tackled him. And then Nicola Cressinger down the right. They build up play. Play up front. He's looking for the overlap, pretty much standing on top of the winger, and then fires it home beautifully. A very good performance, a very good and comfortable victory yet again. We had a pretty good run of games here after losing to Everton. But then we had a big game, of course, against Chelsea. I'd say our first big game since the since the Blackburn one, really. I'd say, considering the league table at the time. But, considering to the conventional top teams, since the Manchester United game, I'd say it's the first big opponents, and we managed to I'd say put up a brave fight. Okay, performance-wise, we didn't do well. Craig Hunter, an amazing player, dominating us. Just again showing the quality of players Chelsea have in comparison to us. One guy helping them out massively. It's a shame. I probably should change tactics. I do keep with my, control tactic, look to control position and stuff. But really, poor performances all round as well. The keeper. I know it's asking a lot to say I should keep him out. Maybe one mistake cost us 1 goal, but still that 1 mistake, 1 goal, 1 draw. things like that. Very simple. Centre mids didn't perform very well either. Just the whole team didn't perform very well, and of course, just wanted to move on quickly from that. We faced West Ham though. West Ham are a tough team. They're above us in the table, so it weren't exactly going to be gifted the win very easily. And again, we got dominated, we got smacked about a bit on possession. I probably should, in these tough games away from home, change up the tactic. But I don't, that's just the way I do it. I just don't. And we got dominated in terms of possession, but defensively we're very solid again. It's been a pretty much story of our season. Defensively, we've been a rock. Attackingly, not as good going forward. But Andre Karaman picking up the goal very early on. We'll have a look at his goal, and then a very, very late goal from Fernando Oliva. Providing a draw for West Ham, but they deserve the draw. I mean, if West Ham didn't get the draw, we would have cheated them out of a point, all 3 points really. So very early goal, very good goal. Beating his marker to the ball, getting a header in, but yeah. Disappointing performance yet again. And then, of course, we're given Arsenal, which is another game battling for position at the current time as well. So these 3 games in a row couldn't come at a worse time. If we'd have faced Arsenal just after the Blackburn win, we may have been able to beat them, But facing them on a poor run of form, of course, morale's not going to be amazing. And, we played better this game. I don't think Arsenal cause us much trouble as maybe other teams do, because we dominated against Chelsea, we dominated against West Ham. Don't change the tactic going into this game, and yet we put up a good fight at the Emirates. So I don't know. I guess maybe Arsenal are a team that we can find easy, or maybe we're Arsenal. Bit of a bogey team. Okay, we didn't pick up any points here, and we didn't score a goal. But again, defensively didn't do too badly. Okay, we conceded 2 goals, but they had a lot of shots. So if they didn't put any through, we're doing poor. And again, attackingly, we're not good enough. 1 shot on target out of 7. That is not the standard we should be playing at, considering where we are on the table. We've given a bit of break against Coventry. Not the greatest team ever. Did they play Larson in this game? Yeah, they played Morten Larson in this game. So he returned to Billericay. Not to a good story, as Bakos picked up the double, and it gave us all 3 points. And it was good to get a rest against these big guns. We had City next, and for those of you who maybe look down, or past this Coventry game, we do get beaten quite heavily to Manchester City. But at least we were given a chance to raise the morale, at least a fighting chance, to build some confidence inside the squad, and that way to go into the City game with as good as a hope as we could. But sadly, we walk away with that with our tails between our legs. We are really shown and put in our place. We may be up there battling for continental competitions with Europa League football and even Champions League football on the line, but when it comes to the title, we are still a few years off that. Menzo, Adriano, Akblutu, amazing player, Shaw and Macamo picking up 6 goals for them. We had Cass Peters and Jefferson score, but they were merely constellations as we were really put in our place. 2-0 at half time. It could have easily have been a different game, but 2-1 at half-time even, sorry. It could have easily have gone our way, but they come out in the second half and they played much better than us. And for the first time all season, I can say defensively we made mistakes. Manu Sanchez, rotation right back, he come in because of tiredness. It's probably not the smartest thing for me to do. But in a way you could say this is a no-hope game. A bit like when Wolves rotated their whole starting 11 to face Manu in the league because they had a midweek game against relegation rivals. I don't know who it was at the time, but against relegation rivals, because you can pick up points there, then you've got more chance. You got more chance, I should say, of picking up points there than you do at maybe a place like Manchester United. In our case, it's a place like Manchester City and Coventry. Play my full team against Coventry, slightly rotate the side against these lot, and Gustavo Cesar just had an abysmal game. So a couple of good points picking out this 9 games. I'd say a good run of form here, and then a poor run of form here. But we just have to swiftly move on from that. I mean, we can't do anything about that. Let's go on to awards. I don't think I've done awards all season long. So, goal of the month. Bakos got it at Swansea, dribble from outside the box. I think this was the goal I actually showed you, and it was a very good goal. So, yep, I'm more than happy to say that. Manager of the month. Have we got near that? We came 3rd in November. Sorry, I was looking at August. And we didn't get it anywhere else. So we actually come 3rd manager of the month. So I haven't got near it for the past 2 years, so it shows we're making progression as a team that I'm considered for awards now. Andre Bruno picked up player of the month in October. An amazing player for us this season, 7.97 average match rating. I did say this last episode, but I haven't been playing him, sent him back for his whole career here with us. And then, I've dropped him back there this season, and mind-blowing how good he's been. And his report says, you know, only a good Premier League centre back. You know, he's amazing. He is absolutely amazing. So it was good to pick it up there. Did we get it anywhere else? I doubt it. Got City picking up 3 there, all 3 awards, all old players as well. So you know, maybe the time for City's dominance at the top of the table could be slipping away from them if they don't rotate the side properly. By rotate, I mean, you know, out with the old, bringing in youngsters slowly and stuff like that. Young Player of the Month, we've got it twice. Nicola Cressinger got back up, come second in November. Nicola Cressinger come first in October, and Alfonso comes second there. And then Cressinger and Rodriguez second and third there, and Alfonso and Impagwe first and second in August. So we've had a man in Young Player of the Month every month this season, and hopefully we can continue that on. Of course, coming up to first, so we'll have December's awards to do next update. So hopefully we can continue that. Our squad is very, very young. So yeah, you know, the squad is looking good. It's developing slowly. The amount of youngsters are being put up for awards, I think that shows that. You know, Francisco Javier, consistent player for us. He's only 22. Gustavo Cesar, what's up with him? Unhappy about being fined. You know what? I don't care. Because you're fined. You had a bad performance, you get fined. That's how it works. Your City performance was abysmal. But yeah, I think this is it for now. We've got a bit of transfer news, but I'm going to, of course, save that for next episode. Any information change? Maybe I know of. I mean, Jamal Lascelles is now on favoured personnel. I'm not sure if Andrei Samsonov was on there before when I last showed you, but he is there now. And yeah, this is pretty much it, I believe. Any major landmarks that maybe I'm not talking about? Yep, I completely forgot to tell you guys. Youth and training facilities were upgraded last season. I couldn't even tell you that. That was great. Oh god, I apologise for that. This is played well in advance, and I'm recording these after playing them. So yeah, our facilities got upgraded. Let's check our facilities. We haven't done that in a while. So, kind of a 16,320 all-seated stadium. And we have average corporate facilities, adequate training facilities, minimal youth facilities, adequate junior coaching, fairly basic youth recruitment, and a youth setup category of 4, which, on my knowledge, the lower the number, the better your youth setup. So we have a pretty piss poor setup. Yeah, I mean that's it. Our connections, I already told you about Crawley last time, and we have Aced, of course. We don't have any proposed affiliations, do we? No. And let's check out the board confidence. Our youth facilities are currently being planned. I'd like to see them go through. Of course, I want to improve my facilities as much as I can. Let's check out our confidence. So competition-wise, we were expected to get a mid-table position. Of course, they're going to be happy we're on course for that, but I want to be aiming for Europe this time. When it comes to, you know, adjusting maybe my expectations, I may keep it the same, just because, you know, I don't want to get pushed too high and get sacked, because that would be an absolute tragedy. In the Capital One Cup, they went 4th round. I mean, I don't know why they'd really care about that. I understand we're not the best team, so, you know, going for a cup would be a decent thing to do. But, you know, only 1 round off, I shouldn't really be that disappointed. Although I do believe my job probably would be terrible, really hard to get sacked from. They're disappointed of these two, of course. I would get that, because, you know, they played amazingly for us. They're happy with Bakos so far. Let's check out Bakos then. How's he been doing in terms of average rating? 7.16, pretty good. You know, probably going to be one of his best seasons in terms of appearances, goals, and assists. You know, he's aiming to beat the year of 2023. Anyone they're really happy with, apart from Bakos? Alfonso, of course, he picked up the award a couple of times. He's doing very well. Really is adapting from, you know, second tier of Spanish football to Premier League really well. And anyone else? Cas Peters, of course, you know, very good player. Scored quite a few goals for us this season. 7 so far. Really is doing well. And he probably end up doing better than he has done for the past few years for goals and assists at Liverpool. And it's just because, you know, we're probably giving him more game time. So this is going to be it for now, guys. I did say that a second ago, but it's actually going to be it for now. So until next time, guys, peace out.